stuck my tongue out at Aurora and yelled, "Meep meep," and ran like hell.
All right, welcome back. We're here for a round 4, I guess, here for Dresden read along today. Obviously, we're joined by the boys. Nathan's here, and now Dan is here. How are you, fellas? Looking
Good.
comfy.
Doing well.
I am
Awesome.
comfy.
Yeah, man. Look, you got. Hey, man. I wish, dude. I wish I could get a couch back here. That's a good idea. I gotta figure that out. Well, I got my new chair, so I can't complain too much. But we're here to talk about what summer night. I almost said winter night, but that's wrong. We're here for summer
that's book
night.
8.
Well, no, winter. Wait, no, it's
Book
not.
4.
Book 8 is winter. Is it winter night? You're right. It is.
Yeah.
And I'm getting so
No,
confused. Summer night. Book 4, summer night. Man, I'm getting confused. Which is yeah, we're gonna get into it. It's one of those. We'll probably do a little spoiler recap. As we do, we're probably gonna end up going right into spoilers just because there's so much to talk about, and we like getting into the nitty gritty details. But I just real quick, I'll say what I got. My overall feeling of the book, was very enjoyable. It seemed very. It seemed like a very quick read, or in this case, listen to. I felt like
Was.
the way it goes, it's so fast from start to end. I have to actually look for my own sanity to see if it has the most word count or the least word count of any of the books, because I felt like it was the shortest narrated book. I felt really, really fast. Now I don't know if that's the content being really good, so I was just sucking it up real fast, or if it was actually shorter than the other books, but it felt really fast. A lot goes on. Part of the reason I enjoy this book, it gives you a look into sort of one of the other worlds of the other worlds of this Dresden world. You get a very good look into the workings of how fairy works and some of the rules of fairy and things going on in that mythical world. That's another layer in under Chicago, or well, not even just Chicago, under the Dresden world. So, I enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I enjoy it because of that. It's a very big world building book, and I think it builds up a lot of characters that we see over and over and over again throughout the series, which I think is very important. So you gotta pay you later in the series for paying attention to these books. You're paid off later. So I enjoy it very much. Nate, what are your feelings on Summer Night?
Yeah, you're right. It is quick. I think it's still. I think it's of the first 4. I think it's still the longest of the first 4.
Is it? It doesn't feel like that at all.
Yeah,
Definitely longer
it
than
may
the first
be.
two.
Yeah, it may be shorter than Grave Peril, but it does go quickly. And I think that's just because there are spaces between the big events in this that just kind of pass, and yet it's world building stuff. It's kind of, but there's, in terms of activity and action, it's not quite as heavy hitting as the previous three. And so, I mean, it comes in and just builds out a lot of the basis for things, and then the events happen. And those events, when they happen, you're turning pages like crazy because they're not short sections. So I mean, overall, I really enjoyed it. But like Aldan mentioned earlier in previous discussions, it's more of a world building book than any of the previous ones. And like what you said, Steve, it has set up for later things. So it's still a good book. I walked away a little less impressed with this one and recalled thinking the same thing when I had first read it too.
What do you think, Alden? How do you feel about that?
Pretty much. Ali, what are you doing? I'm pretty much in agreement. It is definitely a world building book. It's like a pause book. I think me and Nathan talked about this. I'll forget. Me and Nathan talked about this. It's like you get to take a breath. Yeah, this is my greyhound, Ali. Ali wants to go for a WALK, and she's not yet. So yeah, it's a breather book. You get to take a bit of a breath here, and you get to learn a whole bunch of really cool shit at the same time, which is fantastic. You can sit down. Fuck it.
Hey, she just wants to be involved.
She'll curl around me and try and move me. And
she's like, I like Dresden Files too. It's all good.
Last time.
Lesson is you never win argument with the ladies, Dan.
Oh yeah, I know. This one fakes injuries as well to try and get you to do what she wants you to do. She'll I'm surprised she didn't pretend she had a broken leg just then when she was getting off the couch.
She's like, "Ow, no!"
She did that last time. She's unreal. It's pretty funny. Anyway, yeah, no. I really enjoyed this book. It's not as like from a ranking perspective, I don't think it's as strong as Grave Peril as a narrative sort of structure. It's very much like a section of events that happen, and like building this part of the world, this part of the world, this part of the world, and then this part of the world. Without spoilers, it has some of the best scenes in the entire series. Like some of the scenes in this book that I would give my left nut to see adapted properly on screen, right? But we're
getting into it. The fight, the first fight, the first fight with the giant monster, that's Walmart scene, the Walmart monster. Yeah, I mean,
well, I'm talking about the end is just that moment, and it's again we get like no one sets a scene like Jim Butcher, and like this book is like probably I think maybe it's the second time he's done this where Harry has entered like a situation where there's like things going on in front of him, and how Butcher sets the scene for that to take place is just it's top notch stuff, and it's the kind of stuff that you know that if you saw it on screen done properly would blow people's heads off, and this book has a couple of those in it. Yeah. So yeah, I love the book. It's not as good as the last book from a narrative perspective, but it's a great book. And we learned so much.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think with the whole stone table aspect and the Walmart monster stuff, I think you're right. Visually, you could do so many interesting things with this. Especially because it's basically takes place. Well, I shouldn't say it doesn't take place, but you're in a fantasy world for a lot of this book. It's not, you're dealing in Chicago, but you're dealing with mythological elements. I mean, you got unicorns showing up, but they're Dresden style unicorns, right? You're getting a view of how fairy is. You get the rules of fairy a little bit. You have the summer side creatures against the winter side creatures. And later on, you get to find out more about how the winter court works versus the summer court. This is just the
in
first sort of
conjunction
step,
with
right?
that symbiotic relationship that they have that affects the real world.
Right, and that's one of the most
how-
interesting aspects of this
Yeah.
book is that while they are always fighting and they're always at war, they both realize at the same time one can't win over the other.
Yeah.
If it does,
That's right.
then calamity, right? And the the people that aren't insane know this. Sorry, go ahead, Nate.
The spiritual importance of or the fairy realm importance of the solstice and how that impacts the real world, I thought was very clever in how he incorporated that, which it's typical Butcher kind of treatment. The things in spiritual senses or real world activities or whatever that he kind of puts his little Dresden kind of twist into it, and it ends up enriching the element of the urban fantasy that it is.
Well, one of the things that one of the things, especially payoffs at the end, for me is you figure out that you've learned stuff before you realize you've learned it. Specifically, like with Toot Toot and stuff with the small fairies, like you've learned some things about fairy before you even realized you learned about it, and then all of a sudden Toot Toot and the little fairies are showing up, following some of the rules. Dresden ends up where he is as emissary for the winter, and that gives him a set of comrades that he didn't even really know he really had at the point, right? But you learn that, oh shit, he sort of got a few people backing him here too, right? So sorry, go ahead.
He sets up the avoidance of the Deus Ex Machina extremely well. I mean, because you mentioned Toot Toot, without that, it's done. The series is over.
Yep, and it's also I think it's also the payoff. There's enough breadcrumbs, and if you're paying attention, what's going on. And you basically figure it out just before or when Harry does, which I think is also a strength of the writing. Is you're not, you can probably get out in front of Butcher and Harry. In some of you, you might be able to get out in front of it a little bit, but mostly you're learning what is happening in the narrative and the payoff when Harry is figuring it out, which I think is good for me. That's exactly what you want. You don't want to be like, hey, I know this person's the culprit. Fucking let's just get there, right? Sometimes it's better that way. Sometimes it works that way, and you're like, okay, I've been paying attention, so I figured it out faster than the character has, and sometimes that's a plus. But not that's not the case here. And then on top of it, it's written in a way where, at least I feel, you figure it out pretty much the same time Harry does, or maybe a little before, which I think is also the intent for you to sort of figure it out just before Harry spits it out. So
like so far for what I'm in 10 books, because Turncoat's I think number 10. And I've been able to predict one thing in all 10 of those books, and I was able to predict it, a whole half a book before it ended, before it got revealed, and that was in Turncoat.
Right.
But that was more or less me kind of like, to be honest, more kind of like almost throwing a dart at a dartboard with a blindfold on. It's like, this one's, I think this is it. And it ended up being right. But
the Fist of God is awesome. Oh yeah. No more. That's the only that's another minus to this book. The Fist of God is not present, but he can't be always. He can't be present always. It's not the Michael Carpenter.
Maybe that's what. Maybe that's why it's not as good as the last book. Purely just the Michael factor.
Michael isn't present, so
Well,
Michael adds two. Michael adds 2 stars.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Well, and that's a good point. I mean, like this book kind of, in terms of its comparison, suffers having to be the follow Grave Peril, which is
Well,
out of the 17 books, I imagine anyway, considering I've still got 7 of them to go, has got to be in the top 3 or 4. Grave Peril does.
Nope. It's not.
yeah, I don't think so.
You got to be kidding me.
No, I don't. I think I agree with him. I don't think so. No.
Oh wow,
It's a great book.
It's a great book. That's another one of those. It's like listing Carl books.
Yeah.
It's not really fair to Grave Peril, but I don't think so.
It'll be in the top 10 for sure. But
look, it's all going to be relative, right? I mean, you're going to have your own list, but Battlegrounds is way up there for me. Changes is up there for me, and Death Masks is it Death Masks? Turncoat, Death Masks.
Death Masks is
so good.
Unreal.
Yeah, there's a ton.
Yeah,
and
that's next.
There's so much.
Death Masks is next for you, right?
No, that's the next one we're reading.
Next for us.
Oh shit! Yeah. Sorry, what am I talking about?
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, next one for me Changes.
Yeah, you were so excited you blew right through it. So yeah, so I'll start it tonight at work. So
yeah, and I was pointing out to
I did start that one too.
I was pointing out to Nathan the other day, like that he's hit Changes, and it's the first book that he will have read where the title isn't made up of 2 words that have the same amount of syllables and letters in each of the words. And it's appropriate because Changes it's a lot of change that happens in Changes. And it's the only book in the Dresden Files that doesn't have that similarism, or whatever it is. Parallelism. Blah, blah.
In the title,
yeah, well, I mean, Death Mask is you get, I mean, not to you get the best one of the best villains of storytelling. Good old Nick. But let's not get too far ahead.
You've got Ortega to deal with too.
Yeah. Well, let's not get ahead. Let's go. That's gonna be a fun one. We're gonna but yeah. So yeah, I guess we can just get into spoilers, right? At this point,
spoilers. We need to get a tag so you can put up the comments.
Probably should actually. Maybe I'll get something made. Maybe I'll make something for off screen. But you're right, because I think the general summing it up, the Summer Night is a solid book. It's more of for me. It's still a good book. I think it is more a benefit. It benefits the entire series more than just being a great book on its own. I think it helps the world building for the entire world more than it does as a book. Does that make sense? Like it's still a very good book, but it helps the series as a whole better than it helps itself. Does that make? I mean, that sounds sort of weird, but
that's perfect. And you need this like little break here in the pace, I think, from the last book going into the next book as well. So it's just a little spot to catch your breath, which is what you need it. I reckon.
Yeah.
And there's a nice little who did it done it book basically.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, when it comes down to it, you're in mythical magic land, but it's basically a who did the crime book. In your interest, some interesting characters.
That's how we start. That's how we start, right? The book starts with Mab in his office, doesn't it? Asking him to pick up the cat.
Well, so
yeah,
it's 9 months later, but he's out. He's out with Billy, and they're just having a chat because Billy's trying to help him through all the stuff with Susan.
Yep, Billy is very present. It's in the first few books. It seems like Billy is around when Michael is not, and vice versa. Feels like for the first few books, it's one or the other. But
that's true.
But Billy features heavily.
It does start with that, doesn't it? Like he's struggling to deal with the Susan factor that she doesn't want to bother him anymore.
Yeah, his apartment's a mess. His job is a mess. He's about to be evicted from his home and his office. It's just a big old struggle. And then it starts raining frogs, and then there's someone that goes by and tries to shoot him and Billy in the park. And,
that's right. I read this in sections, so I totally yeah. That's how it starts with the fog rating, and Harry like, well, somebody could just be screwing around, or we're fucked. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's one or the other.
Yeah.
We're either completely fucked, or it's just somebody messing around.
Right.
It's like, oh,
And,
thanks,
and
man.
like all of this kind of has a basis of, well, ever since the war got started with the Red Court vampires, they've been constantly trying to get Harry. That's
Been
just
trying to assassinate him.
their
Yeah.
main goal. Yeah. But then they end up going back to his office, and he finds out Billy's tidied everything up, and set up an appointment for him from one of his messages. Harry gets pissed off, kicks him out, and then that's when Mab shows up, but he doesn't know who she is. But he's kind of like, wait a minute,
He's onto it pretty. Yeah, he's onto it pretty quick.
yeah.
But again, it's another example of like how, despite Harry being a big buffhead, he's not stupid at all. Like he really isn't. He works this. He's very observant. It's cool. I love it. It's one of the things I love about him.
Well, he refuses the soul gazer. Like she wants him to soul gaze her, and he knows enough. He doesn't want anything to do with it. It's a pretty good call.
Doesn't he eventually do it, and they don't because she has no soul? Isn't that
It
what
wouldn't
happened?
work. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is what
I
happens.
thought eventually they stare at each other, and he doesn't soul gazer, and that's when he
That's
figures out something's up. Or is that a different? Am I getting my books
It's
mixed
a different fairy. No, that's you're just
Different
getting
fairy.
the fairy. Different fairy, yeah.
Could
But it's
be.
true for all
Okay.
the fairies.
Yeah.
It's true for all the
Yeah,
fairies.
because like her goal is to get him to trust her, and he knows he already can't.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then we get this revelation. Oh, it's Mab. She wants him to do her a favor because someone's dead and she's getting pinned for it. And but he's like, no, I'm not doing anything for you. And she's like, well, you kind of have to because I bought your debt to Leah.
Yeah.
And so now he owes her 3 favors to absolve the debt.
Which he knows is immediately bad.
Yes.
Yes.
Queen of Air and Darkness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
This is bad.
She now, he is now owned by her. That is definitely a downgrade for him. But yeah,
And he also sets terms here too, like in the deal, like with Mab. Like it's great that Butcher gives Harry so much agency, and it's so refreshing to see. Like he's just like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm gonna have to do this, but I get to pick. I get to say no. And what else does he say? I can't remember, but he's like, he's got 3 conditions.
It's
oh
where is it here? I wrote it down. He gets to accept the tasks, and she can't sell his penance off to anyone.
There you go.
Yeah, she can't move it
it's
on.
strictly to her and her alone.
And after the 3 of these things, the 3 things are done, he's done with the fairies, which we obviously know that's never gonna happen. But that's what the deal is. So he wrangles a deal out of her, and it's funny because Mab's like, "You're gonna take this deal. I know you're gonna take it," and he's like, "I fucking am not." And so they leave this interaction with Harry going, "There's no way I'm doing this," but he doesn't know what's to come.
Yeah. He can't. He ends up not being able, obviously, to refuse it just because she knows the situation. So she's very smart in her picking what favors to pull from him.
Well, he's also a little backed into a corner because she'll just off him. I mean, he's
Well,
sort
she
of,
doesn't. But he doesn't accept a gig here. He says no, right?
Yeah.
He says, "I'll think." He says, "I'll think about it." Mab says, "You are.
Yeah.
I know you're going to accept this."
Yeah.
And doesn't she stab him in the hand or some shit as well? She
I think so. I didn't write it down, but
I feel like she's because isn't that where when he hooks up with what's her face, she patches him up with God, why did I forget her name? The other emissary.
Elaine.
Doesn't Elaine patch him up?
I think so.
Is it Elaine or Murphy that patches him up? It might be Murphy. I don't remember. Sorry.
I think Mab heals it, to be honest.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, I think Mab,
there is a healing in there somewhere because she used the healing to touch his essence or something like that to do something.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's super cool.
So she's she says, "Yep. So someone's dead. They're blaming it on me, and something's been stolen. You need to vindicate me and recover what was stolen. And also, you're going to meet my counterpart tonight." And so he's like, "Wait a minute, what?" And she's like, "Yeah, you're going to be my emissary, but you need to meet your counterpart." And he's like, "I haven't accepted anything." She's like, "You will."
Yeah.
You know. And so then he's off to the White Council because they've got a big old meeting because,
But what's the meeting? Why do they have the meeting? Is it because of the war? Is it the meeting?
It's because of the war, and I think they're I think they're just trying to
discuss
find
what
a way to
Harry.
get rid of Harry.
Well, no, hang on. Morgan says this, doesn't he? Like he says, we're finally going to get rid of you after what happened in the last book, like with the breaking the Accords and all that sort of stuff. Which is so very cool.
Yep, and so he ends up going off, and in the parking lot he meets Ebenezer McCoy.
McCoy.
So that's our
and this scene is sick as to what happened. What have you got in your notes there, Nate?
So he meets up with Ebenezer. Martha Liberty appears. You meet Engine Joe.
Let's talk about why. Let's talk about why and how she appears. Right, like he gets there to speak to he's talking to Ebenezer, and Ebenezer is like telling him, like he's getting right up him, telling him it's all going to be bad and he needs to do this and he needs to curry favor here. And Harry's like, "Fuck off, sir. What are you talking about? I'm not doing any of that shit." Basically. And then Martha appears out of the behind a veil. The Engine Joe, they've just been watching because
Ebenezer Harry's like, "Whoa, what? What the fuck?" Well, I also so Marsters also does a great job voice acting here in his reading of it, just changing between Harry, Engine Joe, and Martha Liberty and all of them. Ebenezer McCoy, I love the voice he uses for Ebenezer McCoy, and then just also just you can tell that Harry has a giant amount of respect for Ebenezer for how he presents himself to him.
He does, but he also tells him to get fucked.
Sir. Get fucked, sir. Always with respect, though. Always with respect.
Yeah. And you get that backstory with McCoy being the one who took him in after and was his support in getting him off on the trial for him killing Justin, his previous master, when he was a kid.
Which is just a small piece of a huge story, which you get more of later. I don't know that you're there yet, Nate, but
I'm not.
Yeah, so there's it's a small, tiny piece of the story of Ebenezer and Harry. So,
yep,
it's a great story.
Yes.
So she appears. There's Engine Joe, who was also known as Listens to Win, but because I'm of the same mind as Harry, his name's Engine Joe.
Listens to Win, Engine Joe. What a great character, man! I love Listens to Win. He's so good.
He's fantastic. And he sends respects to Harry from one Tara West, who we remember from book 2.
Yep.
And then this is when they tell him the news of Simon's death, where his whole compound got destroyed. And I can't remember Simon's last name.
I don't. But his Dude, the Fortier.
The Fortier's turncoat.
But all I know is Archangel is his stronghold. Isn't that what his stronghold is called? Archangel Angel.
I remember right.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
What a name of a fucking of a castle Archangel Angel. Right? It's like fucking hell. What's it? So it's
so he's a member of the senior council.
Right.
So Simon's a member of the senior council that the Red Court just destroyed.
Petrovich,
that's it.
Yes.
Petrovich. Yes.
Yeah.
Russian wizard of great power. Yes, he's very powerful.
Yeah. and so that was a bit that's actually kind of that's the first thing they've got to take care of business of when they go into the meeting. And Harry's basically told to shut the hell up, let McCoy do all the talking. And Morgan's immediately there, keeping an eye on Harry, of course, because that's Morgan's bent in life.
We should mention as well. Doesn't Harry turn up wearing a bathrobe? Because everyone else is wearing.
Yes.
Everyone else is wearing. They're wearing their proper wizard robes. Harry's wearing a bathrobe.
Yes.
Yeah, to where Ebenezer has to give him something. It's like, come on, Haas. Here. Yeah.
Yeah. That's when he starts. That's when he starts to realize actually this might be serious. Harry's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Ebenezer's sort of like, hey, dude, you actually need to take this seriously. They're going to kill you.
Yeah. It's like, oh shit. Yeah, you're right. 100%.
Yep. So then we meet Merlin in the meeting, and you immediately kind of recognize he's just
the Merlin. The Merlin
Yeah,
is his title. It's his title. We learned that the White Council head is called the Merlin,
Grand Wizard.
Which you do need to differentiate, because there is a Merlin. There is the person, at least in the lore. Whether we've met him or not in the story, I don't know, but there was an actual
not
Merlin.
Yet. Well,
that's
yet,
why
anyway.
There was an actual character that is named Merlin.
Yes, you have.
Possibly.
Yes,
it hasn't been confirmed. It's I don't know. It's confirmed. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Well, that's another discussion, sir. Let's not go to get in the weeds.
We'll get there.
So, but you immediately recognize that Merlin is clearly he's got his own agenda. He hates Harry, and he's just wanting to go ahead and stack the count of the senior council, or just go ahead and do the vote.
Yes.
But McCoy intercedes and says, "No, we need to fill everybody," and so they go through everything, go through all the proper procedure, and everybody turns it down until McCoy accepts the senior council role. So then that slides everything back into Harry's favor.
Doesn't he? I thought he had to do some fuckery to make it so it was him.
He had to.
He did some because he didn't really want to
restrict it.
Yeah,
they had first. The Merlin wanted to have a vote of the entire assemblage, which he'd been working on to get the person that he was putting forwards. Which maybe that was Lafortier actually that he was wanting.
That might have been. I think that was Lafortier. Yeah, I think so. That might have been what
that was going to be one of his toadies, but Ebenezer manages to get it to be a vote of just the senior council, the senior council members that are present. And so at this point in time, we've got Martha Liberty, we've got Ancient Mai, we've got the Merlin, we've got
Listen to the Wind,
Injun Joe, Injun Joe, and we have is that all? From the senior council?
So. The Merlin.
Yeah, they said the Merlin. Yeah, I think
Merlin.
Yeah,
Liberty, Joe, Ancient Mai.
Yeah,
and now Ebenezer.
Ebenezer.
Yeah. Well, and
oh no, there must be one other one as well.
No,
Christoph.
No, there is.
Maybe Lafortier.
It was 3-3 on the votes.
Yeah,
and the vote went to the gatekeeper to break it.
Oh, the
after he comes in,
the gatekeeper.
Well, the gatekeeper turns up after they've had the vote. They've had the vote to take Harry's head off, right? And Ancient Mai says that he should be she sides with Merlin and his mate, and so because the Merlin gets maybe the Merlin gets the veto, like the ultimate say if it's a tied vote or something. But then the gatekeeper comes in through the back door, opens the doors at the last instant or whatever, and he comes in and says, "It's raining toads." And
yeah.
And he knows, and so this is this is how smart. This is how Mab put it all in place in the first place. Is that the gatekeeper knows that he proposes, doesn't he? He proposes that Harry finds a solution with the Winter Court to allow them access to travel through the Never Never
Correct.
to supply lines for the war.
Right.
And if Harry can do this, then he will get the gatekeeper's vote in order to determine whether Harry is to keep his wizard status, basically.
Yep.
And so Harry's just like, get fucked. And Harry's like, and Ebenezer and everyone, they don't know. They're like, no, Harry's not going to do this. Harry's not going to do this. Why would Harry do this? And Harry said, I already know. Mab's already seen me.
Yeah.
She wants me to do this thing. If I do the thing, she'll give us the thing. All right.
Yeah. I already did it. I'm
Yeah.
already fucking doing it.
And the vote came along. They weren't voting initially to kill Harry. It was actually in Morgan's tactical assessment. They had been approached by the Red Court to do a ceasefire.
Oh, yeah,
And
to give him
the
over.
terms of the ceasefire was to hand over Harry.
Harry, right? That's correct. Yeah. That's what the whole meeting was for, to hand over Harry or not. That's right.
Yeah.
Which they were going to do.
They
that
were
tells
gonna
you. That
do it.
tells you. Tells you what you need to know about the Merlin. He was going to
The
do
Merlin is a spineless fuck, man. Fuck that guy.
Yep.
it. Is he?
Yeah. So Harry.
I don't think he's spineless. I don't think that's the right word, but but yeah,
He's a snake.
he's just
He's a complex character.
He's old and tactical. We'll say that. Very
Yes.
very wizened. He's a very wizened man. Yes.
He is a politician.
He knows more than you think.
Oh yeah.
He
Yeah.
makes decisions
yes, he makes decisions from a very different position than anybody else.
What we know. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So,
very interesting.
So right after this is kind of where we get a breath moment. Harry goes to Murphy's, and she is her ex-husband's died. She's still dealing with the Cravo stuff. So she's been kind of staring at her gun, Yeah. So I mean, Harry comforts her with a little bit of backstory about him and his first girlfriend Elaine, and how she's dead because he killed her in a fire, in the same fire that he killed Justin in, and and so he kind of consoles her with it and kind of just talks her back to sleep because she's not sleeping at all. And this for the most part, I think, no, it's not the end of Murphy for the book, but this is, this you really kind of see Harry's been through it and he's going through some shit. Murphy's going through some shit. All as a result of the last books. I mean, you see
the repercussions.
Scars come from previous books. I mean, there are consequences to good and bad actions in this series, and it's so well done.
Yep.
It gives you stakes too. Like it sets the groundwork for stakes. Like that when things happen, they're going to matter.
Oh.
And so,
Raj is going up. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll pause for a second. Sorry, I'm gonna stand up a second. Hold on, be right back.
All right.
Dude, reading Twitter is still a dumpster fire after that season finale. It's so funny.
Oh, I
Sorry.
believe it.
Sorry. What did I miss?
My garage door is closed now.
All right, cool. Sorry.
Okay, what's up?
We're back.
Okay.
All right.
Yep. Smells like a candle.
Oh,
right.
What was that?
They just got back from Target.
Target. Fancy.
Yeah.
Tosh,
Yep. So
How long have we got before you go to work, Steve?
I got about a half hour.
Yeah, same here. So that's perfect.
All right.
Cool.
So we'll hammer out as much as we can, and then
See where we're at. Yeah.
Okay. So he Murphy goes to sleep, and so he heads on home, and someone's in his house somehow, and finds out.
Oh, hang on,
Elaine
before
is in his
sorry.
house. Oh yeah.
I have to again. Sorry, I keep doing this, but every time it's great going through the notes, mate, because it just triggers stuff in my memory. Like I remember the scene with Harry and Murphy here, like the care, like that Harry shows for Murphy, like when he's like
It's awesome.
he's observing like it's awesome. He's observing the pills that she's taking, the booze that she's drinking. He's like, oh, I know what this sort of equals. I know what this means. And he's like, yo, Murph, what's the status here? Give me let's go a bit deeper. It's so good. Yeah. It's just perfect. It's exactly what you want to do as a mate. It's so good.
Yep. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Tells she's in trouble. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Gives you more depth into her character. Gives you a lot more depth into how Harry will go to whatever extent he can for those he cares for. You know,
and Murphy will still tell him to fuck off as well. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Sort of.
Which is
yeah,
sort of. Yeah. But with a velvet edge.
Fuck off, but thank you, but fuck off anyways. Yeah. I'm good. Let's go. What do you need? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, and then that's right. And he asks her to look into the stuff for him, right? Into the victim to get more information on Ronald Rule. Ronald Rule, our victim. That's all we know about him so far, I think.
Yep.
That's all we know, right? All we know is that his name's Ronald Rule and he's dead. And Harry hasn't been to the scene of the crime yet, has he?
No.
Cool.
Not yet.
Not yet, no, because that's where he's headed now, right?
No, well, he heads home and he finds that Elaine's still alive.
That's right.
That's right. Just a small thing.
Right. And by the way, she's also Summer's emissary, So now he's met the counterpart, and he's, he gets the right to say whether he takes a job or not from Mab. Does he really?
Does he? Yeah. Does he? Yeah. No.
No. He has no.
Been stacked against him from the minute. That's why Mab knew. Mab knew what she was playing with. Knew.
Tricky fairies. Tricky fairies.
Yep. But Elaine's been hiding the fact that she's still alive, so nobody knows that. Everybody thinks she's dead. And then Morgan knocks at the door. And so Elaine's got to hide.
Morgan.
But Morgan has the best timing.
Fuck. Yeah, well, and so what we forgot to mention with the council meeting is that McCoy warns Harry that the Merlin always attacks in three in three ways.
Yeah.
And he says, I can handle the first one. We can, someone else can handle the second one, but you're on your own for the third one. But he only had two in that moment in the council meeting. But Morgan's there antagonizing him, trying to get him to attack himself.
Break the laws.
So that he can have the rest of the wardens that are standing behind him that Harry doesn't see come in and,
act. Come to action.
Punishment. And that's when Harry's like, there's the third attempt from the Merlin. So nope, not falling for it. So he doesn't bite, and Morgan then leaves.
Yep.
Because Morgan is just a dick.
Yeah. Right now he is. Yes.
Yeah,
just
well,
a dick.
he is in regards to Harry.
Yes,
He's a moral dick.
dog with a bone. Absolutely. Yep.
He's
Yeah.
honor bound dickhead.
Yep. So Harry goes to sleep, has dreams of Susan. They're intense and stuff. So he's probably got to wake up and take a cold shower. He goes and talks to Bob about Rule's death, and that's when you find out that Rule was the summer night. So you start getting the building blocks for the hierarchy structure of
Fairy.
the
She court. Yep.
Mab could have ordered.
The knights are basically mortals given the power of fairy or a level of power to operate in the mortal world, basically, right?
Yeah.
And this is where we get that info dump.
Yeah,
this is where we get that info dump.
They're the legal hitmen of the She Court.
Yeah.
For the most part, they get huge enhanced powers.
And they can affect the mortal world. I think that's the difference. Like the key thing is that they can act in the mortal world as agents of the She. It's with all the power that comes with that court, which is pretty crazy. And like Bob's going through it with him, and Harry's like, well, what sort of level are we talking about here? And Bob's like, I'm not sure I could kill. Like you couldn't kill the Summer Night. I don't know how he's dead. And he tells him like it could have been the Winter Night, maybe. I think he says. Or it could have been,
I think so.
It could have been Mav. It could have been like someone from the Winter Court.
Bob is you could tell Bob is sort of like, I don't know how these aren't easy kills.
Right.
Yeah, that's
well,
exactly.
Bob tells him though Mab can only kill him if she ordered it. So she can't actually kill the other knight, but she can instruct somebody to do it for her.
And Harry's like, the most logical explanation here is that it's Winter, but I don't think it was Mab because I talked to it.
Right. Yeah. And so you find out too, you've got the knight. He works for both the lady, or for all the lady, the queen, and the mother, who are the in order of authority of the
mothers.
Of the
we get the mothers.
The mothers were cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but the mothers operate even more behind the scenes. Pretty much the main one that you end up working with would be the queen or the lady. The mothers kind of just handle things in the background.
They're basically retired, just very powerful nuclear bombs that don't activate.
They're super powerful. It's funny how they can act. It's interesting how none of the different levels of the court can countermand the actions of another member of the court in this hierarchy, right? Like the mothers can't countermand. If Mab did something, they can't undo something that Mab's done. They can't undo something that the lady's done either. Like that's got to be.
I also find it interesting. They give the feeling, at least to me, that the mothers are the most powerful because they're the oldest and the wisest, and that they're the ones that are really scary. It's like Mab is like the queen of air and darkness, but the mother's the one that's really scary. It's like, what? Wow. Okay. Fuck me.
Yep.
What does she say? Like Mother Winter says, what does she say later on? She's so emotional or something. Like talking about Mab.
Yeah. Not like that. Yeah.
Well, she's too dramatic or something. Talking about Mab. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then after that, Harry goes to Rule's place, but someone's already there, and this is where we meet the ogre Grum.
Mm-hmm.
Grum.
And Harry just basically gets his ass kicked, and only escapes because he uses a nail to attack Grum, and we get the bit of information
magic
that
doesn't work.
We learn another rule of fairy about iron and how it affects fairies. Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Bane,
which
not the
you,
Bane.
you learn that actually when Mab shows up at Harry's office in the second chapter, because he rolls something towards her and she won't touch it, and that's what kind of clues him in. He's dealing with somebody fairy.
Yep. These are all notes that Mab has taken of Harry too, that he's done these things. She's clocked him as a smart person. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but before Grum can kill him, there's a neighbor that interrupts, which you find out later a little bit more about that. So Grum just leaves, and then the police begin to show up. But Harry palms a photo that he had pulled out of Grum's satchel, with, I think it was 3 people that were in the photo with Rule. And so that gets to the funeral.
Yeah.
So I mean, these things are all kind of, the plot's kind of just moving along, but it's not like a thunder pace kind of thing like Grave Peril was.
True.
So
this is the second section.
Yeah,
it's like the second section of the book.
So Harry gets there and he's kind of walking around talking to people cryptically, or hears people talking cryptically. And then he finds the people, he sees the people in the photo. And when he's going to follow them out, they actually jump him, and they're kicking the crap out of him. Then Billy shows up because Billy's a fucking stud.
Yep.
Billy's champion. God bless Billy.
And and so the 3 people that just jump and leave, they escape. So Harry summons Toot Toot, and he's got a whole company of
the Zal Lord is about to be born.
Yes, exactly. And he tells Harry that the Winter Lady lives in the Undercity, and the Summer Lady lives at the top of one of the tall buildings. And so Toot gives him a fairy light that will guide him to both of the ladies.
Toot is the best.
And Billy, Toot is so awesome.
Yeah,
he's the best.
He's so awesome.
Is this where did he get his proper voice? Did he get his proper voice in this book? Or is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
He gets
This is where he gets his voice in this book. Yeah.
Masters is fully leveled up at this stage by the time he hit book 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
Toot is fully invested. He's fully invested now. Toot has his voice, and we're good. Yeah. The Zal Lord. Yes.
Yep. So they follow the light to go to the Winter Lady, who lives in the Undercity.
The description of Chicago is very interesting. That they got the city built on top of the city, and there's layers on top of layers, and then in those bottom layers is where the creepy crawlies and the magical creatures all live.
Yep.
It's pretty interesting.
So Chicago has essentially been phased sets of cities that have just sunk because it's swampland.
Harry judges that the best place for him to start is with the Winter Court, so that's why he goes that way too.
Yeah, because that's what he's emissary for, so he thinks that's the best place to go.
Yep. So on the way there, he gives Billy the lowdown on how the She operate, and hey, you've got to toe the line when you're there.
This is
you don't do these things.
Yep.
No gifts, no deals, no temptations. And then when they get there, they meet Grimalkin, who was sent to guide him to the lady.
Oh, and what a character! What a cool introduction to Grimalkin is such a sick character. Just in the dark, like the way again. This is like Butcher doing his scene setting thing again, but as he goes down in the darkness, and there's just this like voice, Grimalkin, that's like talking to him. that's like guiding him or whatever to get to the final room or whatever it is to get to the Winter Lady. It's like that. That voice is just so. That voice is insane. It's so good.
Yep.
He's scary.
He is. Well, because then Harry kind of notices, wait a minute, he's led us all the way here, but he also never said he was sent to lead them back.
Yeah.
So he's got his oh shit meter going on in the back of his mind.
Yep.
But he gets.
They just let,
so they get in there.
Yeah.
And so it's a big 1920s speakeasy jazz hall that they go into. And he meets up with the lady, and she requires a deal in order to answer Harry's question. And so So we learn her name is Maeve, and her deal offer to him is she requires his firstborn in order to begin negotiation.
Straight out of the gate. Straight out of the gate. Give me a kid. I'll have your firstborn kid.
You're working with him immediately. It's just like
Maeve immediately awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And she's like super hot, obviously.
Yeah, you find out all of Fairy is completely just hot, fucking
all Fairy is
unbelievably hot,
yeah.
fake,
Yeah.
fake hot. Yeah, it's crazy.
Perfect.
Well, yeah, because she's like, well, you don't need to have one now. I mean, I can offer you one of my she, and so this she comes up, and she's smoking hot too. She's trying to tempt him, and so he gets some cold water and pours it on himself.
right on his balls, right on his dick.
It's funny, and Billy's looking at him like while he's like accepting the glass of water. Billy's like, "You said not to accept anything," and Harry's like,
"Yeah, yep." And this is when we meet Lloyd Slate, who is a
Lloyd Slate, good old
class
Lloyd
one
Slate.
Motherfucker,
asshole. Yep, supreme asshole number one.
Yeah, but he laughs at Harry's jokes, so he's okay.
Yeah,
like Harry takes the piss out of Maeve at one point.
Yeah, so he gives Maeve a box, and
she's not happy.
Maeve gets pissed off at him and kicks him. Really hurts him. And so Harry at this point is kind of like, well, okay, so I'm not getting the impression that he did it.
Yeah, and why? Because Harry's assessment here after he leaves the Winter Undercourt is that this was like would have taken significant skill and planning in order to take out Rule in this fashion, and these people are way too emotional. It's not possible.
Right.
That's his assessment at this point.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep, and we're in a proper whodunit right now. Yep.
We are.
Yep. So at this point, Harry hasn't really asked any questions for the most part, and Maeve hasn't agreed to negotiate anything. But he and Billy turn to leave because he's like, well, it's obvious she didn't do it. So that's what I wrote here. Murder was clean. Maeve is too impulsive.
Yep.
The Fae just seem to be all in a rush. So,
which is she? Dun dun dun.
Right. Yep. Spoilers, Steve.
I didn't know. Maybe for later. Okay.
Yep.
Is there more to Maeve than meets the eye? I don't know. Maybe.
She's just hot.
Read and find out. Oh yeah, that's true.
Right. Yeah. So they go to leave, and then as they get back to the car, Billy pushes Harry out of the way because someone's attacking
There's always somebody attacking.
There's always
Always.
something. It's always at the end of a chapter.
Mhm.
That's why you
You end
can't
up-
put the books down. That's
Yep,
why you can't. Put the
that's
books
exactly
down.
right.
Right.
Exactly right.
He's so good at it. He's perfect at it.
Yeah. And this is where we officially, even though we've seen them, it's where we officially meet Fix and is it Muriel?
Lily,
Lily.
and
No, we don't meet. Do we
No,
meet Lily?
No, wait. Isn't
Yeah.
No, we don't meet Lily.
Lily's kidnapped.
not yet.
Yeah,
No.
She
right.
he does
She's
meet
one of the ones
Lily.
in the photo.
Yeah, he does meet Lily. He meets Lily at the funeral. Actually, at the funeral when they're bashing him. Okay, so maybe she's been kidnapped now. All right.
Yeah, Lily's
So now it's
kidnapped. I think,
Meryl.
At this point,
It's fixing Meryl.
It's Meryl and Fix, and they find out. You find
Yeah.
out that they're like changelings.
Yeah, he finds out they're changelings, shapeshifters.
Yes.
Which are what are they? They're half fairy, half humans that haven't picked a side yet.
correct.
Some basically.
I don't think Fix is.
Fix isn't. I don't think
But-
Fix. Wait. No,
Fix
I
is a
don't.
changeling.
Fix is a changeling. I don't know if
Yep.
he's half
But-
and half though. Is he a half breed too though? I don't know if
They're-
he is.
They're all changelings. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. Muriel.
Oh no,
Muriel is
because of
half-
what happens to Fix.
Oh.
Okay, so whatever happens to Fix later, he doesn't have to because he gets power.
Yeah, that's later.
Yeah.
So that's what.
And
and
Muriel's,
yeah.
Muriel's half ogre.
So that's
She
okay.
just
So
has
that's
a-
what, so because of what happens with Lily and Fix, they don't have the same outcome as Meryl. Meryl makes a choice later, and that's why she changes. Right, got it. Sorry, got a little bit ahead of the court.
No.
Because I kept trying to contemplate. It's like, well, why don't Fix and Lily end up having to do what Meryl does? And it's because of what their
They
circumstances.
didn't
It
make the
changes.
choice.
Yep.
And they never made the choice.
So they offer to help on the rule case. Let's see here. When my writing is just a train wreck on this one.
Well, they hire
they're
Harry.
changelings.
Meryl
They have a
hired-
winter father that was
Yeah.
cruel. That treated them cruelly. And so they needed protection from him, and they need protection from him, and they need to find Lily. So Lily's now been
Lily's missing.
well, yeah.
And so
She's
they
now
hire
captured.
Harry.
Yeah.
But Meryl pays Harry
Yep.
all of her money to find Rule to pick up
Yeah.
the case. And Harry, as Harry does, like, I can't do this, is a bad idea. I've got this winter emissary thing on, got all this shit going on, but I can't say no.
And she's like,
Right.
well, I'll pay. I got all this money. He's like, oh shit, that's rent for fucking.
Oh, I need to pay the bills. Yeah.
He's like, I need to pay rent. This is rent for fucking months. Okay, let's do it. I need the rent.
Yep. So on the way back to the car, he all of a sudden now there's Elaine appears, but she falls down and she's just beat to death pretty much.
She's in his car, isn't she? I think he finds her in his
yes.
car.
Yeah. That's why he doesn't see her immediately. So he's like, okay, I got to get you to the hospital. She says, no, take me to the Summer Lady. Hospitals would just allow her to be found. So he gets passage to Aurora, which is where he was just going to go in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
But he goes straight there.
Yeah.
You go straight to the building.
Yes. Yeah. Let's see.
Which is
So he
cool. And
takes-
which is cool. He goes up the stairs or whatever, up the elevator.
Isn't
Which
that where all
is
the weird
not-
guards are and stuff?
All the
Isn't there
weird garden is the tent at the top of the building. It turns
Yeah.
into this like crazy, like tropical sort of forest type thing. And there's a really nice elf, Talos or whatever his name is. Is that his name? Talos is the king of like the war leader for the summer court,
Talos,
maybe like
yeah, Talos. Yeah.
Talos. Yeah, the general. And there's a big centaur, blacksmith.
Mm.
This is really cool. Can't remember his name. What's his name?
I don't remember his name.
I don't know, but as soon as Harry comes through the door with Elaine, the big centaur fella smells him because he's got winter. He's like winter bound, and bang, he just like tries to kill him immediately. Just like charges across, charges Harry, which is really cool. And then there's someone else that's working on someone else who's making a statue.
Let's see here. I can't find his name. Can't find his name. Not important.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. So when they get in the end, he oh, go ahead.
No. When they get to the garden, like there's a girl making a sculpture out of clay, or whatever that he talks to. He's asking for the summer lady. Talos stops the centaur from killing him because he's carrying Elaine, and then Talos starts to heal her, or he puts her in a comatose state or whatever, so she's not going to die. And then the girl that's working on the statue is talking to Harry, asking him some questions. I can't remember exactly, but it turns out that that's Aurora.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And that statue's kind of important.
It's kind of important, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, man, thinking back on it, you're just kind of like, oh, fuck you. Like, really?
Because it's the same. It's a statue of Lily, and it's funny because Harry goes, "Is that Lily?" And the girl who doesn't know it's Aurora yet, but it's like making the statue. She's like, "Yes, do you know her?" And he's like, "Well, I'm looking for her. Do you know where she is?" And it actually is her.
Yeah. Yep.
But
so
that's the thing. But her explanation, Aurora's explanation is like really good. She's like, yeah, she comes and poses for us for art sometimes. This girl, and there's other statues of her around or whatever in different poses, different paintings and whatnot.
Yep. So Aurora offers her assistance. And we get the explanation of the balance of war and how the transition of the seasons occurs at the solstice. There's always a battle. And
she seems so nice.
Why we have a problem here without the summer night. Then the summer court is greatly weakened. The war would end up being more decisive and could end in an unending winter.
Right, which brings up a whole bunch of questions from Harry to himself about why if Winter did this, why aren't they pushing the offensive right now?
Yep.
So it doesn't make sense to Harry, because if this weakens the summer court so much, why if Winter's making a move, they should be making a move right now. But they're not.
Yeah. There's also an in-world explanation for that too that mitigates that, which is that it is like it's the waxing of summer's power leading up to the solstice and the waning of winters as well. So there's that too. So they've lost the summer night, but also they're also significantly more powerful than what winter is at this point in time, right up until the switch over of the solstice.
Yep. Yeah, it's a pretty cool mechanic that he builds into.
It's unreal
into things. Yeah,
isn't it funny how like this book, like you kind of just read it, but like it's taken like an hour to talk about just half of it, and it's not even the good half.
Yeah,
yeah,
I know. Right?
Well, I mean, but I think we talked about it, right? There's a lot of world building going on, right? I mean,
and it's super interesting. Yeah,
it's world building for the whole series. It's not just for like this book. It's you know, stuff that's important to the whole of Dresden Files. So,
dude, right at the end, we can't spoil Nathan, but there's stuff in this book that's important for the last book.
Absolutely. It all comes
foreshadowing. There's crazy.
Well, that's why I said Maeve, right? I think that it's intentional that this is Maeve is an intentional misdirect in this book. Because Maeve is acting the way she's acting on purpose. It's not the real. She is actually not emotional, and well, she's emotional, but she is not out of control. She is not.
No. She's doing exactly what she wants to do.
She is actually playing 4D chess. She is actually playing 4D chess.
Actually.
So I don't know. So we can try it with this one, see what happens. You know, I can do part 1 and then do part 2 and see
if they come back.
See if they come back and see if they prefer the shorter hour and then another hour or another however long, rather than just one.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, do that. We'll be back
for the better half of the book.
So we'll hit part 2 of Summer Night when I'm not working.